right. So, welcome to the Creative Perceptions podcast, where your dreams meet your reality. My name is Zachary Rogers, and I'm the host of the podcast. Today, I have a very special guest, one of my frat brothers, the CEO of LUX Clothing, or the LUX Enterprises.
Hey, LUX Clothing, cool.
All right. LUX Clothing. Anthony Lovelace, graduate of Morgan State University, and received his Bachelor of Science in Accounting. Correct?
Correct.
All right, sir.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
me, Zach.
No problem. Thank you for jumping on the podcast. I know there's a million things that you could be doing, and I thank you for taking the time. So, tell the people about yourself real quick.
Yeah, well, I was actually working on clothes today for a few customers. So it's an interesting time. Everybody is going through some type of struggle in life right now during this quarantine, and I feel like at the end of the day, it's like we only can control our feet. We only can control and keep our distance. So we gotta keep our own grind, our own focus on the achievements that we want in life, no matter if it's going to be tomorrow or not. Because, like, honestly, we don't know. And
Right.
I just want people to know, like, my main thing is podcasting. So I do this podcast called the WAP Pod. The reason why
Check
I
it
call
out.
it the WAP Pod is a lot of my friends, and I have a lot of my friends on the podcast, they call me WAP. And
Mm-hmm.
basically, I have opinions that most people don't have about music. I love music, and that's probably one of my motivations and inspirations in life. Music helped guide me through making clothes, helped guide me through, struggles in life. Funny little story is, it's like, as a young kid, I always listened to music, and my dad used to just bang Jay-Z, right? So, like, I always grew up with this fascination of Jay-Z before Beyonce, before
Mm-hmm.
all this, right? And to
Right.
see what
Right.
he accomplished, it was always like, damn, if he could do it, I can do it. And
Good.
and that's just how it all started, kind of.
Okay. Good. All right. Wow, that's a good nickname. All right. Outlandish. You have your own thought process. I think that's pretty cool, considering the fact that we live in a world where everybody either has to agree or disagree. And I think if you have that difference, that's what makes diversity, and that's what makes the world different. So I appreciate you for being you. So tell me about yourself, your childhood, growing up in Philadelphia. Tell me about some of the events, whether it's good or bad. Tell me about some of the things that stood out to you about your childhood. I know with COVID-19, we have a lot of time to really
Reflect.
process and really think. So tell me some
Yeah.
of the things from your childhood that kind of stand
Um,
out to you.
yeah, so I grew up in North Philly, and I attended this school. It's called Frederick Douglass, right? And if anybody knows Frederick Douglass, you know how impact he had on, just black culture. And it's crazy that I had the privilege of having my picture on the wall of that school
Mm-hmm.
painted on, because during, like, a certain time during that school year, they was picking out certain students that was excelling in multiple aspects of school. So I was on the basketball team. I was also student honors. I also was getting good grades. So it was like a privilege. And like, my dad said something to me that day, that the wall was actually painted. He said, now that your picture's on that wall, you gotta make sure that it's not a waste. Like, your life
Mm-hmm.
has meaning to it. That
Right.
someday you can take your child back here. He look at that picture and know that everything that you accomplished from day one. And I think that's where kind of that hunger starts. And
Mm-hmm.
I grew up not too far from where, like, Meek Mill was rapping, and
Mm-hmm.
a couple of the people that he rap about in, like, songs I actually knew that
Mm-hmm.
actually, like, passed away.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he heard about one kid named Shotty. Like, me, he used to, like, talk like this, ride my bike. Like, we was close. And stuff like that, and see his life taken at, like, a young age over something. Like, he was here one day, he was gone
Mm-hmm.
like 2 days
Yeah.
later. And,
So tell.
and
Oh, go ahead.
well, just stuff like that, that little sequence in life just
Right.
creates
So tell the
something.
people, tell the people that may not know where Meek is from. Tell the people where you can find him at, or where he's from, where you guys are from.
All right, so if I lived on 23rd and Crosby. He lived on,
Mhm.
like, he used to hang on 23rd and Burks, in
Mhm.
between there, in between South Philly. So he used to rap. It's another street. It's called 23rd, 22nd and Burks, and it's
Mhm.
like this old, like, corner. And you see
Mhm.
all these, like, all the videos. Like, if you see them now, you can see him still on YouTube of him rapping, and he still
Mm.
visit to this day. But
Real quick. Oh, go ahead.
but it's just funny. It's like we got like a lot of rappers that's from that
Mm.
neighborhood now that look up to him, that's taking
Right.
off, and it's just crazy how the impact that he had.
It's a beautiful thing. Real quick, favorite Meek Mill project, favorite album
It
or
had
mixtape.
to be Dream Chasers 2, like his
Okay.
second mixtape from
Okay.
Dream Chasers. Yeah, that was probably the best one for
All
sure.
right. Cool. So earlier you talked about like how you went to Frederick Douglass High School, and I think it's kind of funny that you ended up going to Morgan
It was elementary.
Elementary. Okay.
Yeah, it was
So
elementary middle.
got you. My bad. So I think it's actually kind of ironic, not ironic, but it's kind of interesting and cool how you went to elementary school at Frederick Douglass, and then you went to Morgan State University where there's a Frederick Douglass statue. Tell us how you ended up at Morgan.
You know, it was even funny. I got so I went to Frederick Douglass Elementary. I went to African High School, which is a charter school, no longer here at New Media Tech. And then I received a scholarship from there, from Dr. Wilson, called the
Wow.
Frederick Douglass Scholarship.
Wow.
So it was kind of like I didn't know. I applied for Morgan, but I wasn't expecting to go to Morgan. I wanted to go to Temple. I had a best friend in high school that wanted to go to Morgan that told me about Morgan. So without
Hmm.
her, I would never have applied. Like that's the funny
Wow.
thing. It's like, and she was my best friend, and it's crazy. It's like we don't talk to this day, but it's like I always think about her because without her,
Hmm.
like telling me that, I would never be where I'm at today. I would never have LUX without
Wow.
A and Q. I would never have certain things, and it all started with just attending a school called Frederick Douglass. It's funny. It's like certain things. It's like my dad always say, certain things line up for a
Right.
reason, and once you take that path, no matter
Right.
which option you choose, you're gonna end up with whatever path you're supposed to be. So
That's good, man. So tell me about. I know in your earlier years of matriculating at Morgan State, you actually lost your mother. Tell me
yeah,
how. Tell me how you went. First off, a lot of people when bereavement occurs or people pass away, it's easy to, and it's understandable. It's easy to kind of like, hey, I can't do school right now and things of that nature. Explain how you were able to continue to excel through college and really push yourself, and be there for your father, vice versa. Tell me walk me through what that was kind of like for you.
so all right, my mom and my dad been separated, right? So I
Okay.
always had like half and half, because it's split time. So I
Right. Right.
grew up my first 14 years with my mom, and my last like 7 years before, well, 4 years before high school. I mean college. I was with my dad, and
Mm-hmm.
during that period, that's when I really, became a man and started to realize certain things. And it wasn't until I got to Morgan that I realized that the relationships you had with your parents you need to
Mm-hmm.
build on. And my
Right.
relationship with my mom wasn't the best. So we just started building on it, and for her to pass literally 2 weeks into the first semester,
Wow.
and it's like I was talking to her one week, she was fine and like laughing and everything, and my dad come down and tell me that my mom in the hospital, and I see her. She don't look like nothing like last time I seen her, and it's
Mm.
scary. It's like you don't know how fast life can change. That's something
Right.
that I was taught at that moment, and during that time, it's like I can't lie, I shut down,
Right.
because you have like doubts, you have regrets, you have situations you have to deal with, and I had to kind of find my way out of the darkness, kind of.
Right.
And that's where that music kind of came from. It's like my mom used to love R&B music.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody from India Ivory to Heather Healy. I mean, all these
Mm.
type of artists she would listen to and sing these songs every night, and I had to hear them, and I get annoyed, but I learned them as a little
Yeah.
kid.
Right.
And at college, they stuck to me and they kept me with her. So
Wow.
like little stuff like podcasts is it's like a way to connect with people, right?
Yep.
You talking and they getting a real story of you. There's no filters, no reality TV, right? And
Right.
you understanding that everybody's going through something and everybody have like their own trials and tribulations. But when they overcame it, you just want to hear that story. You want to hear how they overcame. And I
Sure.
think that's what your podcast is going to be great about, because I can't give this type of character on my podcast because I don't have
Mm-hmm.
that type of audience. I'm talking to like little kids. I'm talking to 17, 18. I'm talking to college
Right.
students. I'm not talking to people like my pop age all the time. And that's sometimes a disconnect between my podcast and like the audience that's receiving it, because certain
For sure.
topics is not going to hit like as I want it to be. And
Right.
I just want to highlight you while I'm here right
I
now, because it's
appreciate it,
like
man.
you get me to talk about stuff I can't talk about on my podcast, because it's just we can't get to that part to be
Right.
that
Right.
serious. And thank you.
No problem, man. I thank you, man. It definitely takes strength, determination, and I commend you for being able to finish college. And even though I didn't necessarily meet you until maybe 2 years later, the first time I met you, and you didn't really tell me the story directly, but you indirectly told me, and I was just amazed at like the strength and the wisdom and the courage that it took to really get through that. So I just commend you for that, and I know that that's definitely going to help other people. And I definitely thank you for your kind words. But man, that's amazing. So my next thing is, so how did Morgan, the largest HBCU in Maryland, how did that prepare you for life after college and just being in that field and having that mindset as an entrepreneur? Because a lot of times we've kind of gotten into this mindset that African Americans and minorities are not able to have their own businesses, but that's furthest from the truth. When you think of the civil rights movement, when you think of cities in Baltimore, cities in Philadelphia, and New York, we've had some of the largest minority businesses. It's just, they kind of fell by the wayside. So how did Morgan prepare you?
Yo, you know what Morgan did? So like let's imagine every kid grow up in an environment, a little pocket, right? And they introduce to all this stuff, right? And you think that's your
Mm-hmm.
normality, right? Then you go to college, freshman
Mm-hmm.
week, you see a big room, and you hear people start shouting out PG County,
Right.
Monco, all these different areas, right? And you see people showcase talents. You see a girl do a Ray Lewis kind of touchdown celebration. You see a guy taller than you, look more stronger than you, act more feminine than you. You see
Mm-hmm.
different things where it's outside of your nature, where you just say,
Mm-hmm.
this world got so much more to offer than what the pocket I live in.
Mm-hmm.
And like at Morgan, I just experienced life. I experienced different cultures, different RAs from different countries. You just get a different aspect on life. You
Right.
see people from suburbs, you see people from inner city Baltimore. You think your
Right.
hood got it bad until you go to Baltimore, and you
Right.
see homes where it's all boarded up. You feel me? It's like empty blocks. It's like
Mm-hmm.
that's not known in Philly like that, but it's known in Baltimore crazy. So that's little stuff
Right.
like that just opened my eyes.
Right. No, I could definitely relate to that because my mom's side of the family is from Germantown and Philadelphia, Cheltenham, and then some of my grandfather's side of the family is from Southeast DC. But when I got to Baltimore, I'm from Montgomery County, so it's all suburbs. And I'm just like, when I got to Baltimore, my first thing was, why is it so loud? But like really going into the neighborhoods, you really see that they have it differently. And then you meet some students or people that are just like, they're just happy just to be alive, and that could be anywhere. But like going to Baltimore, like you said, was definitely an eye-opening experience. So tell me about how you selected accounting as your major. Tell me how we got there.
It's funny. I used to have a stepmom who wanted me to be a doctor, and
Wow.
told her like in 10th grade, I ain't gonna be a doctor. I'm not going to school for 7, 8 years, and not knowing that accounting you gotta go to school long too. So long story short, I just had a godfather too that was an accountant. He did our taxes all the time. He always
Mm,
told me to get a CPA, right?
right.
So I went to school, got my accounting degree, and now I graduate. He tell me that I should still go get my CPA, and I
Right.
realized that he did not have his CPA. So the man that was telling me to do this all the whole time don't even have it,
Mm-hmm.
so don't know really the struggle on how to get it.
Mm-hmm.
So I started to actually look into how to get a CPA.
Mm-hmm.
And by like freshman year, I understood how much you can make with a CPA compared to accounting. So
Yeah.
it's a difference. It's a much difference in the little amount of school that it takes. You should take the school to get that kind of
Mm-hmm.
pay. And I know I have a long run picture of wanting to get my CPA because I
Okay.
don't expect, podcasting, like everything is going to last for a season. And the only
Right.
way you're going to be successful is how you're going to transform, how you're going to get something new or create something new from what you already had. And I always know that from one point to the next, I'm going to get my CPA.
Right.
And
Right.
from there, I'm going to help, neighborhoods that I grew up in. And that's
That's
kind
what
of my
that's what it's all that's what it's all about, man. Giving back, and I'm glad you said that. Like, because oftentimes we make it and we don't give back, and that's I commend you for that, and I know you're definitely gonna get the CPA, and I know you have big things. So tell me about your business, man. Tell me about Lux.
All right, so first of all, I gotta shout out Damo, our line
Okay.
brother, because
Okay.
he actually told me that he gave me the name Lux, and
Mm-hmm.
so he said that the name Lux stick to me because you're a flashy dude, you flamboyant, you always trying to, I guess, stand out, and I didn't really get it at that point, but over
Mm-hmm.
time, I always understood that I had my own type of style, even with trying to fit in with everybody. I still got my own style,
Right.
and at some point, I got tired of buying Polo, of buying Nautica, of
Tell me about it.
not being able to afford Gucci or Louis.
Tell me about
And to
it.
be honest, it'll only be clothes with some type of letters on it. So I want to kind of create the new meaning of luxury wear. I mean, how are somebody that's not from our culture going to tell us that this is called luxury wear and what you have is not called luxury wear? So
Say that
if I
again.
put
Say that again for the young people out there. Please say that again,
All
man.
right. So how can someone from our culture tell us that, well, from not our culture, tell us what's is luxury and what is not, and what is good and what is not, what is wealth and what is not? I mean,
Right.
at the end of the day, it's like clothes is clothes. The person make the clothes. If the clothes make you feel good, if it was affordable,
Right.
if it was the right price, would you buy it? And that's kind of my mindset. I'm gonna make the
Right.
clothes. So like at this point, my price point is from $30 to $60 is the highest item. But my lowest
Right.
item you can buy is $20, and that's 5 pairs of
Right.
socks. So I feel like you got a wide variety of price
Right.
points where an average person can get it. So that's kind of my goal right now. We in the early stages of it right now.
Okay. Well, man, I commend you for that. I'm definitely at the end of this. We're definitely gonna get your credentials, like your social media handles and things like that, so the people can find you and purchase your stuff. We're not doing it's 2020. We're supporting Black-owned businesses by actually buying. We're not doing the freebies, so no freebies.
Yeah, for sure.
Good, good, good. So before we move on to the next segment, what would if you could talk to your younger self or younger people out there who have business mindsets or entrepreneurship mindsets, but are afraid to step out of there. I know me personally, it took me a while, but then I said, forget it. Even if I don't blow up, I'm going to have my own media company, which is Creative Perceptions with a Z. I'm working on the LLC, but for those who are a little bit timid or they're scared of doing the business, what would be some of your advice that you would give to them or him or her?
I just said something funny last week on my pod. I said the first thing to do is to start. Once you start, don't quit.
Right.
That's kind of the only thing. When you start something, the mindset of how is this successful is only your point of view. At the end
Right.
of the day, how can someone judge you on the life you're living if you're able to provide certain things for yourself? If you can provide, a common meal every day, you can provide certain things where you're not taking from somebody else's life,
Mm-hmm.
then no one should be mad at you chasing your dreams at that point. So I
Right.
feel like once you find your passion,
Right.
it's not hard to make money from your passion.
I agree.
And that's
Good.
at the end of the day, it's like if you find your passion, wherever you chasing, you're gonna keep doing it because you already know that's what you meant to do. It's gonna just
Right.
fall in line, and it's gonna be like you're gonna have down times where you have to take a break, or you feel
Right.
like you just need a break. But it's going to be certain points in life where you get validation, and you got to hold on to the validations. Like you telling me that stuff is validation for me, and I just have to hold on and keep it in spirit.
That's Man, that's good. You have no idea. I about to say you just kind of blessed me with that because I know for me, I've been kind of like with this tension with journalism and higher education. I love helping students. I'm really good at it, but I really want to do media and journalism. And it's just like, no matter how far I try to go away from it, it still comes back, and I get that kind of fire to be like, all right, we're gonna get back on these stories. We're gonna get back on this stuff. So I appreciate that. That even helped me.
I have to ask you a question though. Do you think
Sure.
you can mix the health with the journalism? Because I mean, it's like kind of like CNN right now. I mean, they giving quarantine
Right.
breakdowns every day with
Mm-hmm.
certain. And if you be honest, I talked to someone. His father in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
Their COVID-19 counts are like 10% under like the countries or like the world. It's like they like under like 1,000 people
Mm-hmm.
if you look it up to this day. So I mean, it's kind of scary of these kind of like broad countries, like we at $100,000 deaths, and
Yeah,
that's crazy. It's scary.
it is.
I
But
mean,
no,
I just feel like you got a point where you can. We need black voices in health and journalism at the same time. That's gonna give us the
I,
facts.
I appreciate that. No, you're right. I do have to do both. I think sometimes, like, growing up, you're so used to like the way it used to be, where it's like you do one thing and you stick to it, and now we're in a place like, well, no, you have to do multiple things, otherwise you're gonna sink. So
Right.
no, I agree with that. All right. So real quick, before we go to our next segment, where do you see yourself career wise, or what's your end goal? What's your dream?
That's a good one. Career wise,
Mm-hmm.
my whole goal, and I tell people this, my whole goal wasn't the Watt Pod. My whole goal was No Cap TV. That's why I still call it No Cap TV, because it's kind of like a studio. I want to create a podcast studio kind of company. If you ever heard of
Okay.
Bill Simmons, then you heard of The Ringer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ringer is one of the most beautiful programs I think
Right.
that they ever made. I mean, they handle everything from movies to basketball to
Yep.
everything pop culture, right? But they don't have a black voice on there. And that's the main thing that I said when I listened to them. We do not have one opinion on here, and that's the only thing I hate. I hate listening to it because I do not have an opinion from my point of view.
Right.
Sometimes they might pull from a different type of journalist from this culture, this color, but they don't have the same point of view because they already made it.
Mm-hmm.
Someone like me or you that's podding, we don't have any gain from the outside world for what we saying out our voice.
Right.
And
No, I
I
agree.
mean, when you look at like people like anybody that's getting paid, that's getting 100,000 views, it's somebody that's feeding them everything they supposed to say because they supposed to make
Right.
certain points and advertisement points and marketing points to make budgets. And it's fine, but that's just the game that we live in at this point. So I want to just
Good.
be that
Yeah.
independent guy that's like Nipsey says, like all
Yeah.
money in is like if you could do it yourself, why go there? You feel me?
Right.
If I can film and do it all and just keep progressing
Do it
every
myself.
year, and then I just do it myself, then that'll be it.
Good. No, that's good. All right. Real quick, one last thing that I would say is I watched Dolomite, the remake, for the first time, and that inspired me to do my own thing because he
Okay.
had to film his own movie and everything. So I like what you said there. All right. So for our next segment, we're gonna have quick strike. It's kind of like Foot Locker, quick sneaker release. Quick answer. Like at the top of the dime.
All
So
right.
is the NBA season gonna return this year?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
All
yeah.
right. Cool. All right.
Too much
What's your
money.
favorite sneak? Huh?
It's too much money involved. They got to
Right.
bring it back.
Right. Right. I agree. What's your favorite sneaker?
Jordan's retro 11s.
Okay. Oh, all right.
Funny pair. Somebody stole my breads out there. So if you watching them, you know what I mean. Somebody stole my
No,
breads,
not
man.
the bread. Oh,
You
that's
know what I
probably one
mean.
of the most. Ooh, that's one of the
Yeah, I know,
most
right?
popular 11s. Ooh, that's a hard one to follow. Who's a role model or someone you admire?
Uh, Most importantly, probably my dad.
Good.
And but I tell people it's just like I gain inspiration from everybody that's trying to be successful. I gain inspiration from even you. I mean, there's certain
Appreciate
ways
it.
you carry yourself where you just always a calm manner, and that type of calm manner, I hope I can carry. Because I keep it's weird. It's like during the day you see certain aspects where you can take from other people and say,
Right.
"Damn, that
Yeah.
quality I need," and
Right.
that's all it is.
No, that's facts. I appreciate those kind words, man. I about to say I definitely learned a lot from you too, whether you realize it or not. I'm always studying people, so no, I appreciate you too. All All right, last section. All caps or no caps? All caps being a lie, no caps being the truth.
All right.
The Last Dance documentary ended the MJ versus LeBron debate.
All caps.
Okay. All right. So LeBron still has a chance to catch the clear the gap.
He do have a chance.
Okay. I say if he reels off two championships in LA, we talking. Even if he wins this year, we talking. Because
yeah, if he win this year
was,
with AD, then he talking.
Yeah. Okay, I agree with that. The 76ers will win a title in the next 5 years.
Yeah, while Joel Embiid.
Without Joel, also we're keeping Ben.
Keeping Ben. I feel like we're gonna get 2 shooters and go small ball with Ben at the 5.
Okay. Colleges will be obsolete in the next 10 years, meaning you'll see a decline in attendance and the people feeling the need to actually go.
There'll be certain colleges that see like HBCUs or colleges that offer something specific, but those outside colleges, those online colleges, I don't think it will start to decrease as we prolong more into the future. Yeah, I do think that.
All right. R&B is dead in today's world. Or do we have any R&B artists out there?
It's a million, but I mean, in today's eyes, R&B and hip hop is the same. K Camp might be one of the hottest young R&B singers that's a rapper. So, yeah.
Okay. Last one. There are positive sides to think about despite the COVID-19 going on. So there's positive outcomes out there, even though we're confined to the house. No cap?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I could be a first person to say that COVID-19 was a blessing for me, man. I'll be honest. Right. On a personal way, but not on a worldwide way. I'm really emotional about that.
No, I agree. I definitely think it was a wake up call for me to spend time with family and like really reevaluate certain things. Because one of my friends lost her stepdad, and yeah, bro, it's nothing to play with. My grandma went to the hospital, so it's like not because of COVID, but it was during the same time, so it's kind of like a lot, but it can change just like that. So I agree with you.
And I want to shout out my godfather. He just tested positive, so I want to send him prayers. He just tested positive for COVID-19, and yeah, so
we definitely gonna keep him in the prayers, man. All right, so I just want to thank you for getting on this podcast. It was incredible to talk to you. Tell the people where they can find you and where they can find your stuff.
All right, so you can find me at Instagram at WAP Hefe, or WAP Pod or No Cap TV or the WAP Shop. I mean, I'm trying to brand it so easy where you can just type WAP and find me on Twitter, TikTok, anywhere. I'm all places, YouTube, working. Basically.
All right, man.
And last but not least, I think my cat wants to die. She came.
Hola.
Well,
man, thank you for getting on this pod, man. I appreciate it. I know some people are definitely gonna be touched by this, man. Keep working, and I definitely have to buy some merch from you, man. But thanks for getting on this show.
Will do, man. I give you a discount. No cap. I got you.
Appreciate you, man.
All right, man. Enjoy it, man.
All right,
have
brother.
a good day.
You were with me. You were with me. You were with me. You were with me.